Good morning. Welcome to Lewis and the 13th day of June in the year 2022. I'm Keith Hayes and this is Rouser Radio. With you for the next 3/4 of an hour until radio or television takes over at 8:30. Right, there you are. Ben Sound Buddy. To get us rolling into this first hour of the first day of the second week. I think I understand now why those things go. We've got something called an auto DJ on. I'm just finishing the biscuit. Because Mirador is here to welcome you into a beautiful day. You only hit about 19, 20 today. And a nice day out there on the high street, the sun beaming down. And if perchance you're coming in to either visit us or simply visit the White Hart Hotel, it's the beautiful Shannon on this morning with her gorgeous smile, ready to say hello and make you feel very, very welcome and that the day is worth living. So, if you come in and you go to reception and you see a lovely beaming lady behind it, say hello, Shannon. Shows that you care. So it is a nice day today. I think we can be a bit more specific about the weather if we really put our minds to it. Yes, why not? Let's give you a bit of let's give you a bit more detail on. Oh dear. On what the weather is going to be like. Yes, right. It's 19 degrees. We're going to have sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. Now, the gentle breeze over the weekend was enough to knock my hat off, but it still was a very lovely day. And I struggled into Lewis on Saturday morning, had a few things to do, got them done, went back, opened up the French windows, and didn't move for the rest of the weekend. Didn't mean to say I wasn't working, but I didn't move. And tomorrow we've got a day without cloud and without a gentle breeze, and it's going to rise to 21 degrees. And Wednesday we see 24 degrees, and Thursday 24 degrees. Oh, and Friday 27 degrees. Wow, it is going to be a scorcher this week. So today at 19 degrees is going to be the coolest of the week. Make sure that you actually enjoy that because it's going to be the mildest day of the lot. And it can be just as uncomfortable. Look at this silly thing. I don't know about any of you, but if you're playing around with your phone and so on is my fingers are too pudgy. For the phone, and as a consequence, I tap everything except when I'm supposed to tap. Ah, there we are. I think we've got it at long last. Yes, yes, yeah. So let's start with the let's start to take a look at the front pages of the newspaper. The first paper to be highlighted is the Financial Times, believe it or not. And there is an attack on Boris Johnson over his bid to rip up the Northern Ireland trade deal. Now, this has been a contentious issue for the Ulster people, Brussels, and ourselves because of this silly border that goes through the Irish Sea. And Boris has tried to do something about it. It just, they make it sound as if he's heavy handed all the time. And I think that that's totally unfair and unjust. This border has caused great concern on both sides, the Republic of Ireland, which is a member of the EU, and Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, and therefore subject to Brexit rules. But nonetheless, it has a border, and that border has been, there's a line being drawn through the sea. As a consequence, nobody knows whether it's coming or going. It is a complete and utter disaster, a typical bureaucrat's nightmare. But the moment that somebody decides to do something about it, ah, ooh, hey, there are 1,000 reasons why not. And generally speaking, those reasons are propagated by those with the loudest voice, and quite often those are with the biggest snout in the trough, because they don't want to lose. So they become very vocal and they're very. Uh, uh, Everybody has to listen to them. Well, it doesn't work quite that way. Well, it does work that way, but it shouldn't. This business of the border should be a fairly simple issue instead of the complicated mishmash and idiotic thing that it has become. That border is notorious for smuggling anyway. There was a famous story that was told when I was working in Northern Ireland of the farmer who, on the border, which is a pretty wild border actually. I mean, to monitor it is very difficult. Is he would wander his cows over the border through a field which partly was in Northern Ireland and partly in the Republic, half a dozen times a day, and each time he got a subsidy for it because he was moving his cattle from one country to another. And I can well believe it. But that is the nonsense that goes on. Having suffered badly at the hands of the EU and their silly nonsense rules and regulations, I feel very strongly for getting something solid and sensible in place instead of what is undoubtedly is going to be a complete and utter nightmare thought up by those people in Brussels who have nothing better to do but to think up these things and get them all screwed up. Should we do away with the whole of this European Union thing? Oh. Now, that's not a political statement on Brexit, but all I want is to see sanity prevail again. And the fact of the matter is, at the moment, it is not. It is not sane in any sense of the word. Oh, we'd better take the weight of our feet for a moment or two. Here's Ben's ukulele. We're listening to Rouser Radio out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewes in East Sussex in the United Kingdom. It's 7:44. I'm Keith Hayes. And generally speaking, I try to keep up to date with what's going on and pass things on to you. All I could say about the weather today is it is going to hit 19 degrees, and that is the coolest of the week, because tomorrow is going to be 22, and it's going to rise up to as much as 27, 28 before the end of the week with not too much of a breeze. So today is probably the best day to go out and do your shopping, because you won't feel that uncomfortable. One of the things that upsets me, I suppose, is the amount of bureaucracy that we have in our governance. And nowhere is that more evident than in the European Union. So when we suddenly see papers like The Guardian, the overriding Northern Irish deal will damage UK investment, warns the CBI, is one says, oh, dreadful, because the CBI is the Confederation of British Industry. But the CBI has proved itself of late, and when I say of late, in the last half decade at least, to be a very wishy-washy organisation that keeps on getting things wrong. It has some very plush offices in London. It has a staff. It is supposed to integrate business into our society and to give some sort of form to individual businesses through an organisation, an association, a club, if you like. It never seems to me. But anyway, it has said that UK investment will be damaged if the Tories change the rules on the deal as it is. The deal as it is getting up the nose of a good many Ulster people, and certainly is another example of the unwieldy way that the EU put together various deals and protocols and then expect everybody to wade their way through. Oh dear, so that's The Guardian. The Daily Telegraph is European judges to be stripped of protocol powers. Now, because of our membership of the European Union, European judges had quite a say over our own way of life, the law of this land. And that was very controversial in its own way as well. So, what the Daily Telegraph is saying is that European judges will not be able to uh, tamper with bits of legislation that we are introducing from the day that we decided to leave the EU. And part of it is making sure that European judges don't get in there and make all sorts of legislation that we can't live with. So the Daily Telegraph says is the government is going to take away their right to tamper. It links that with the story about the protocol, the Northern Ireland thing, and sort of says, whatever our judges do, the European judges cannot take away. Oh well, there's going to be a bit of a fight about that as well, I suppose. The Daily Mail, the new Rwanda flight farce. Well, I have to say, I am getting roundly pissed off with the people who keep on saying you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do the other. I don't mind that. It's good that we've got those curbs, those checks, those balances on anything that we do or that our government does. But I wish somebody would come up and when they say that is bad for the country and you can't do that, that they would come up and say, but you could do this instead. And they don't. And the idea of, I think it's Priti Patel, isn't it, who has said that those people who come storming ashore in little boats from France will be shipped on to holding camps in Rwanda. Well, of course, that's nothing could be like a red rag to a bull to civil rights organisations and so on. Say, well, that's dreadful. They'll be impounded. They'll do this, that, and the other. I don't know. There's any evidence for that. But by the same token, it is a new initiative. But immediately, of course, we go to the courts. And the plane that was standing by on, for tomorrow, I think, that 31 migrants were going to be flown to Rwanda, and as part of this new initiative, now probably won't be because there's appeals. So that the plane is going to stand without those bodies, as bums and seats, and they will stay here while the whole thing is argued. And in the meantime, of course, that encourages all sorts of people who get into little boats and rubber dinghies and dangerously cross the English Channel to come here. What is it about our leadership that makes it, if we say we should do something today, that 6 months down the line we're still arguing about whether we can even begin to debate it, let alone implement it, is we become unwieldy and cumbersome. As a consequence, if you do nothing, nothing gets done. And that really is the byword of our civil service. They do nothing, and as a consequence, nothing gets done. So this whole idea of trying to tackle the large numbers of people coming, I mean, don't, yeah, I always go, oh, tut, 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 tut. Yes, 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 yes. Remember that in a time when our money is being spent to try hard to help you at home handle your finances, is to have something like the illegal immigrants, the door opened again, is once they get here, it is you that pays to keep them. What happens to them when they get here is a different argument. The fact is, they should not be crossing the channel. They are illegal. Nobody argues that. And actually, of course, they're coming across the channel because the French make it quite plain that they are not welcome over there. It says that the new Rwanda flight has become a farce because it can't take off pending court hearings. The courts are notoriously, because of lockdown, because of the pandemic, way behind. So it is yet another initiative that ends up in on the floor of the inventor without anything really being uh, done as a positive step forward to trying to resolve the issues. What a pity. Before we go to more headlines, let's play a little music. Better sound jazzy Frenchy. Yay! Jazzy Frenchy. Ah, yes, lovely little. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. How are we feeling about the day? Well, yes, it does appear to be that sort of day. Bright and breezy, a nice day out there. The the cares of the world left with the world just for a minute or two as we explore what nice things can happen during a day. But the same front page in the Daily Mail with the story about new Rwanda flight farce is also a picture of Prince Andrew, who was stripped of his titles because of his association with the Eccleston people, the nasty people who seduced young ladies into spending weekends with nasty old men. One of the nasty old men being Prince Andrew. So he got booted out of the royal family to all intents and purposes. Now he wants back in, and he made a bid to have his royal status returned, and as a Grenadier Guards colonel, would attend a couple of ceremonies in the coming weeks and months. And apparently, according to insiders, Prince Charles, his brother, is having none of it. Is no, Andrew, you've been a naughty boy. This is where it stands. This is how it is. And this is how it's going to stay. So he's not going to find an easy return into the bosom of the royal family and to the restoration of all his rights and privileges, which he had as particularly as colonels in regiments and so on. He was a naughty boy. and naughty boys have their toys taken away from them. I'm quite sure that one way or another, the country isn't going to suffer from him either having or not having, as the case may be, the titles and the royal prerogatives. The Mirror: 1 million kids to go hungry. The Mirror says it's the 1 million kids is the number of kids that will fall beneath between the cracks, and I know what that's like. I felt between the cracks. God's sake, everybody else is walking away with comfort zone monies from Brexit. Sorry, not Brexit, but lockdown and so on and so forth. Well, we at Mirador didn't get any of that, and as a consequence, we've suffered very badly. But 1 million kids to go hungry is that Boris Johnson is snubbing, according to the Mirror, is snubbing a plan to extend free school meals. And he said, the Prime Minister has said, we can't have all these kids without eating properly in a day, so let's extend the school free meals to cover those kids that aren't covered at the moment. Fairly simple, isn't it? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's going to be poured over, looked at, twisted, thrown up into the air. Everything is going to be in bad scene, bad odor before anything happens. That is what happens when the government gets stroppy. And according to the Mirror, there will be 1 million kids that will miss out. Is it true? Well, you can. What is it? There's facts, lies, damn lies, and statistics. Statistics can prove anything that you want. So whether in fact a million kids will go hungry, I rather doubt it. But the the left group, who are the official opposition to this sort of thing, looking after hungry children, says there's going to be 1 million. So for the moment, we have to take that figure and gnaw on it and work on it. The Thames universities facing new China cash crackdown. Well, I have a certain sympathy for this because we had on last Friday Ian Williams, a journalist who understands what's happening in China and Russia, particularly when it comes to the cyber situation, the technology situation. And he was saying that so much is happening with technical aspects, cyber aspects, that we're losing track of what we should do to put the issue right. And part of my solution would be is let's get people talking to one another again. But you certainly don't do that if you rely upon technology. But anyway, the Times says that universities have been tapping China for cash. You know, you pay £500,000, and this is what you get from our university. No questions asked because we don't have to report these things to the government. And now what Boris is saying is, yes, hang on. For all intents and purposes, what we're doing is we're selling out our universities because nobody puts in £500,000 or £1,000,000 or £10 million or whatever without expecting something in return. And many of these deals aren't quite specific about what we give back. But believe me, the debt will be called in. So he wants universities to be forced into reporting anything over £75,000 in terms of donation. Now, I'll take 74,000 if anybody wants to give that to Mirador. and we won't kick up a fuss at all. The Metro, the death of our hero. Oh, what's that all about? Uh, the Metro, which is a London paper, right, it is talking about the killing of Jordan Gatley, a young British soldier who went to serve in the Ukraine and was overtaken with the fighting and has been made. Well, his life has been snuffed out. Um, the the Metro wants to keep a very close eye on all that uh, surrounding the death of this man and what's happening with the troops in Ukraine. The latest from the president is we can hold our own in the Donbass region, but only if we get some help in terms of supplies from the West. We need guns, we need ammunition, we need bombs, etc. Of course, Russia is saying, you dare do that and we'll take reprisals. Will they? Who knows? Daily Express, nothing off the table to crush strike action. Well, there has been suggestions of the government moving to either introduce or to reawaken legislation that would soften the blow of the rail strike next week. Actually, yes, next week. I think it's Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Is it? Yeah. And so negotiations are going on. But what the Express says is the government looks as if it's trying to go around left end, as the Americans would say, and try to crush any strike action that appears above the parapet. It isn't that easy, and already a couple of unions have voted to stay with. Good morning.
Good morning.
To stay on board and make sure that their strike goes ahead, particularly the rail unions. All right, so nothing off the table to crush strike action. Essentially, it's saying that the government is well, can't make up its mind really. I suppose that's what it's saying. The Sun. Charles blocks Andy return. Same story about Andrew wanting to come back into royal life. And the Star is drought order. And it is saying a record baker, maybe the best ever, the hottest ever. In other words, the heat that we're going to expect this week is going to be so hot it'll break all sorts of records. Right, what time is it? Oh, it's 8:05. Where does the time go when you're having fun? Let's go down with you, down with your get-up, the Mini Vandals. that's not bad looking, is it? Not bad at all. Gets you awake, that's for sure. Just on some of the brighter things, is England footballers drew 1-1, or at least I'm not sure it was 1-1, but they drew with Italy. So one, I think it's two draws, isn't it, and one loss. It's not that bad, I suppose. They haven't lost the old Zing. They stand a good chance because there was nothing in these particular matches to go forward to. But the cricket, after dire predictions that cricketers were all washed up, is they are doing very, very nicely against West Indies. In fact, they won the first test, and now into the second test, and the bowlers took a flogging. The New Zealanders reached 500 and some odd all out. And our lot went in with, of course, everybody expecting a collapse. Well, the collapse didn't come, and Root, I understand, is looking for his double century, which would be terrific if he could celebrate with that. But we're not the whipping boy of the world anymore. We're showing that we have fight in our belly, and we're ready to go as fast as we can to get back some sort of supremacy. Uh, Anything else on the sports front? I can't think of anything that's overly big at the moment. It's one of those periods where um, cricket is only just establishing itself, and football is coming to an end. Rugby is still playing out some of its championship matches. So all in all, not a one would say a fairly calm and reasonable day. But but who knows what's going to happen today as we start in on a new week, because there is enough conflict, if you like, to shake a stick, to worry us out of our. Oh, it's a dog barking outside. God bless him. Um, to worry us out of torpor, to worry us out of letting everybody get on with it and not worry too much. And it's about time that we did get back with a lot more participation in our democratic process. Oh, well, that little dog is getting quite angry. I don't know what about, so I can't tell you why he's barking the way he is. Anyway, uh, it's now 11 minutes past 8. We shall go on for about another 4 minutes. It it's a good day. It's a nice day. The world is born pressed down with major problems, but as individuals, we should be able to enjoy decent weather. We should be able to enjoy going to the beach. We should be able to enjoy all sorts of things. Incidentally, um, once again, a two-edged sword. I had cataract removed from my eye 10 days ago. It's still playing up a little bit, but generally speaking, I have to say that I was very satisfied with the treatment that I got. One of the things that we then find is that the the NHS corporate, the NHS, as far as its administration is concerned, is managing to cock everything up because now it is almost impossible to get an interview, even to get to see your doctor. And I have to say that I experienced that. What are we going to do about it? Well, really, all we've got to do is to reverse what we started to do. We have got in this particular patch of the woods is we've now got a big sprawling organisation that nobody recognises anybody, and it's all gone from a very cosy we'll look after you type situation. Why? Because of this great taste for what I call globalization. In other words, bigger is better. Well, bigger isn't always better. Bigger can be better, but it's not always better. And we have to start to discriminate. Otherwise, we've just got the situation that we've got at the moment, and that is shortages of this, shortages of that, no firm way forward, and frankly, a muck up in terms of governance and government. Dear, 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 dear. Anyway, it's 8:14, and with that last note of oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, we will say goodbye from Rouser Radio, and join us again at 8:30 with Mirador Television. So here we go with our usual Ben Sound buddy to see us out.